Welcome to Icon Industries. I am Antoine Haynes. I'm a producer here at Icon Industries, and we are sitting down with the one and only Tell'em Tage, also known as Mr. Tangible. Tell'em Tage is a multi-business owner, a barber, a father, entrepreneur, and has a very interesting story that I thought was quite interesting and wanted to share. And since we just partnered up Icon and Culture, which is Tage's barbershop, I thought it was important for us to be able to, dive a little deeper. So, Tage, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How you doing, good. Antoine?
Pretty good. I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
You said barbershop. It's Barber Lounge.
Barber Lounge. I'm sorry. Oh,
we lounging over there. Okay. We ain't shopping. We lounging.
Okay, tell me, what separates you from a barbershop? Let's go with that real quick.
First and foremost, we have state-of-the-art couches with plugs in them. You can sit down like a hookah-style lounge.
Okay.
And then we offer all the clients a beer if you're over 21, free of charge.
Cool.
If you would like a shot, some people take shots.
All right.
We got books and water and stuff for the children.
Nice.
Depending on what shop you're at, you can catch a game or something.
So it's a whole experience.
It's an experience.
It's not just come in and get your hair cut or whatever.
Definitely
like that.
not.
It's an entire experience. That's awesome.
Definitely not.
Got you. So
I try to elevate with time. You know what I mean?
Okay, I get it. So Mr. Tangible, where does that come from?
Mr. Tangible. So if you anybody who knows me or follows me on Tell'em Tage, TAPERTAGE on Instagram knows I'm real big on showing the process of getting to where you're going. One of my favorite slogans is we all got the same 24 hours. So I like to show what I'm doing in the mix of 24 hours to get to get from living in a $40 hotel to being able to own and scale 2-3 barbershops, clothing lines, and still be a parent, a full-time parent. My daughter actually lives with me. I see her every day, every night. It's not a weekend type. No, not knocking anybody who has that arrangement, but
I get you. Yeah,
this ain't that.
Right,
as they say.
Right. You
this
get
ain't
the
one
actual
one.
connection and everything with your daughter and everything, which is it's a beautiful thing. Being a black father, and I know we talked prior how important that was for you to be present in your kid's life, right?
Yes.
Your daughter is 11 years old, right?
11 years old.
They grow up, man. I got a 3-year-old myself.
Yeah, that
girl is an animal.
And you're full-time dad, right?
Full-time dad. Full-time. Me and my wife.
Not no weekend.
Nah.
Yeah.
I go home every day. Like I may be out working or whatever like that. When I get home, I always make sure I take out my time. I sit there and maybe say a prayer, say my daughter's nightly prayer, whatever, and do all of that. Spend a little time with her, sing her a song, whatever like that. Make sure, even though because I'll be up way before she gets up in the morning. But being able to do that, I think it's important for them because
it's very important.
It's important for these kids to have a present father in their life.
It's important.
Definitely. But you touched a little bit about your story when you talk about $40 hotel, whatever like that. I'm gonna pause on that real quick because I want to go into the first off, Tage. I know that's not your not on your birth certificate.
Right.
That's not your government name.
Right.
We know what Mr. Tangible is, which I can respect Mr. Tangible because that is like I subscribe to the same theories, right? I appreciate watching the journey. That's also why I enjoy watching your content because I've watched you and I talk a little bit about how, matter of fact, I'll take a moment to tell this story now. So I've known Tage for about 4 years. When I first met Tage, he was in a barbershop called The Spot, and he just had a chair in that spot. I was working and I was on my lunch break and I needed a haircut. So I went down, somebody had recommended The Spot. And so I went down there and I got a cut from Tage, and I was shocked because he did it quick. And I was like, he did it quick, it's probably not that good. But they pop up on the mirror and it was good too. And I was like, okay, we got that. That's nice. So obviously I'm gonna come back. Now the second time, the visit was a little different. The second time, so when I got there, so he wasn't doing appointments or anything like that. So I was walking, so I wasn't expecting to be seen right away. He was cutting somebody else's head, and I sit down, and he tells me, he was like, hey, give me a moment. I need to grab me something to eat, man. I'm starving. And I'm like, no problem at all, man. You do your thing. He was like, give me a moment. I got some food in the back. Be like 5 minutes. I'll be right back. Do you know that this guy was in the back eating KFC fried chicken for 15 minutes while I was sitting there waiting on him? I was like, come on, bro. I was cracking up. And he was like, hey, man, you know, with the KFC, the Colonel, I was like, come on, bro. But he came out, and again, quick haircut and all that. Then later on, after I've gone to him a few times, I found out, I went to him one time, and I was following him on like Instagram and all of that. But I have found out that he was opening up his own shop. And I was like, man, that's nice. So he's opening up his shop in Vista, right? And
no, Oceanside.
Oceanside, yeah. So he opened up the shop in Oceanside, and then I was watching it, and I was like, man, this is nice, because I'm watching you kind of fill up. You had, extra chairs or whatever like that. So you would be, promoting, hey, extra new barbers and all that kind of stuff coming in. And all of that. And then I watched that fill up. And obviously I went to that shop, and it was nice. And then I watched culture go from just the name of a shop to an actual brand. Yeah, I'm watching culture merch out here. And I'm like, man. And he knows I keep harassing him about his merch. I'm asking him like, man, how you get this? Who's doing this for you? This bag is nice, man. That's leather bag and everything. I don't know a single barber shop that got leather gym bags. But barber lounge, my bad. Right, got to say it correctly.
Yeah, you're good. You can just say brand. Yeah. I don't know another brand.
Another brand, man. But it's awesome. So I watched that one, and I watched you kind of grow with that shop. And then shortly, not too long ago, you launched your second one, which the grand opening is coming up. Is that March 19th, right?
March 18th.
18th. Awesome.
Yep. So Saturday. Come on down.
Check it out. We'll drop the link in the description for the address and everything, and it's gonna be awesome. There's gonna be food, games, music, all of that. It's gonna be awesome. But I watched you open up that shop, and then I was like, man, this dude did that in a really quick amount of time. And I was like, shoot, man, that's inspirational for me, because I've been watching you on Instagram. And I've been watching your journey go up. And like I said, I like to watch the journey. I'm not a, just kind of show me what happened at the very end type of thing, right? I like to watch that. I feel like that's how you sell yourself. I've been in sales for a while. And the biggest thing that you're always taught is, hey, you sell yourself before you sell a product.
And that's what you got.
And that's what you're doing. You're representing your brand with that. And so that was super inspirational. I was at a barbershop down here one day, and because I just needed a quick cut, and the guys in there were even talking about you. I was like, man, this dude's transcendent, man. You actually building an actual brand. So that's awesome. So if you can do me just a quick favor, I want to know, Tage, tell me your story as to how you became a barber. What led you to that path?
I mean, I'll say like maybe about 60-70% of barbers, they were all, or I must tell my story, but it's equivalent to what I would say. Yeah. A lot of barbers were doing illegal activities. Yeah. And pretty much my story is I was on the left side of the law. Okay. I wasn't on the right side. I was on the left side.
Gotcha.
I was successful at what I was doing, and then I had a child. I had Kaya. I had my daughter. Right. My dad wasn't present in my life. Okay. He's still alive somewhere in East St. Louis. Gotcha. My mom, as many people know, was on drugs and got clean and did her thing. I have an older brother named Dale. He was in and out of jail, but he was more or less my father figure. Gotcha. So fast forward, I had a kid, and I was still on the left side of the law, and I did not want to go to prison. I ain't built for prison. I've been to jail a few times. I was like, man, I don't want to go to prison. That life. I was living in a big old house in Menifee, California. Okay. I can't really say what I was doing, but let's just say I was doing something that could have landed me in prison. Somebody I know and dealt with on a every weekly basis, one of my partners, he's got 77 years. Dang. So yeah, I was like, what do I want to do? I want to keep you know, think I'm balling out and maybe chance going to prison and never taking care of my kid.
Right.
And I would be repeating the cycle that that
generational curse that just fell on you.
I took a rational decision and I sold my house, short sold my house. At the time, Obama was the president. He was, they had the little recession thing, so he was forgiving the differences on the house. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. I can sell my house because the price went down. You know what I mean? So I sold my house. I moved with a girlfriend that I was dealing with at the time.
Yeah.
And my child's mother wasn't doing so great. And she had my daughter. They were living in the hotel.
Okay.
Like literally right around the corner from where I was staying with a whole nother female. So I made another rational decision and said, man, I need to get over here with my child.
Right.
If anybody who knows Escondido, Mount Vernon Inn, it ain't Mount Vernon Inn no more, but that's where I was living. You know, me, my daughter, and my child's mother, and I decided I'm gonna go to barber school. My older cousin, he was a barber. When I was hustling, I used to go to the barber shop, which was the spot. And like, I promise you, about 3-4 years before I even became a barber, I got a barber pole tattooed on me. I was getting a bunch of tats, like I'm all sleeved up. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a barber. That's how much I knew, like, when I'm done with this life, I'm gonna go into just be a barber. You know what I mean? And I always had the boss mentality, business mentality. It's just I didn't find nothing that I wanted to do that interests me. I was doing music at the time too, as I was doing illegal activities. None of that stuff was working. I'm kind of embarrassed to say I even did music because
I know I never heard it. I've never heard it.
Every kid's dream. It's like, you know, it's like a kid saying, I'm going to the NBA. It's like, bro, you ain't think you're not going to the NBA. But anyway, long story short, I went to barber school. That was 9 months. The whole time I'm living in the hotel, me and my partners, a couple of my partners, they went to barber school with me. We're driving a bucket every day all the way down to San Diego, Mira Mesa, to go to barber school. I graduate barber school. The very first job I get is in Escondido. You know, I work at this barber shop. Me and my homie, we pretty much the only ones that work there because the owner don't cut hair. So he need to find some barbers. Long story short, he dies. He catches cancer. He dies.
Oh, man.
I go to another barber shop, Los Panchos in Escondido. Listen to the name, Los Panchos. It's like I was out of place. You know what I mean? We're watching a basketball game in Spanish. I'm like, what the hell? So I stayed there for a weekend, but I give it up to Los Panchos because at the time, that was the most I had ever cut. You know, you didn't get no break at Los Panchos. It was next.
Okay, got you.
So I worked with a guy, Chewy Filioso. He's a big name around here too. He has a couple shops and he's a barber school instructor. But long story short, so I ended up going to the spot, staying there for a couple years, worked with a couple of my partners that I went to barber school with. And the ownership there, it was cool, but it wasn't that great.
Gotcha.
And I just kept telling myself every day while I was there, like, man, I want to go to a better barbershop. I want to go to a better barbershop. But as a barber, you don't want to be a barbershop hopper. You don't want to go from this barbershop to that barbershop to this barbershop. So then that's when I planted in my head, I'm going to open up my own shop.
Got you.
You know what I mean? I'm tired I'm done playing. I want to open up my own shop. I had no idea how much it cost. I went on YouTube, started looking up stuff. Started looking up the price of this and that, the mirrors, IKEA, the barber chairs in LA. Calculated everything up. Didn't really have a business plan, but I knew how much everything cost. And I looked at my bank and I knew I had, you know, and I know I'm blabbing on, but so the very first day of opening up Culture, I had one barber, and that was me.
Right.
That was me. I was the only barber. I ain't have no grand opening. I wasn't trying to do nothing fancy. I was mad because I just watched all the money in my bank go to this thing, and I ain't even got a barber. The dudes that went to school with me, they didn't want to work with me. Nobody wanted to work with me.
Oh, man.
So I was like, dang. So I done spent all this money, and I don't even know if I got anybody that ever wants to work with me. You know what I mean? So there's where Instagram came into play. I started Instagramming. And there's where Mr. Tangible comes from, because
Okay.
I'm showing, you know, hey, I'm at work every day.
Gotcha.
I'm showing, I'm taking out the trash. I'm the one cleaning. I'm the one restocking the toilet.
Gotcha,
I'm twirling the sign. I'm doing everything I possibly could do.
You go back to the old rules: show, don't tell.
Yep. Lead by example.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I still do that today, 8 years later.
Yeah.
You might catch me in front of food for less.
I be seeing you, man.
You know what I mean?
You're like hustling,
with some business cards, but I make it fun. I get on my little hoverboard or my electric bike and shoot, I go around, and that's what you got to do. You know what I mean?
I gotta say, the passion that you have for your own business is great.
Yeah.
Because one of my biggest, like, I've been here at Icon, we work with a lot of different brands, and one of the things that I see is people, they'll treat their customers great. And
customer service.
It's great. You know, if you're going to do a haircut, you're going to make sure, like, I'm looking nice, clean, and crispy when I get out the shop, right? But then if we talk about how you market yourself or how you treat your brand itself, some people tend to neglect that portion of that.
Right.
So being able to take that serious, or have that passion and have that consistency that is what I think aids to your success in being able to open up 2 shops in under 4 years. Right. So,
3 years, yep.
But with that being said, your shop's name is Culture. Why Culture? What does that mean? What does culture mean to you?
Well, first and foremost, Culture was gonna be the name if I had a boy, but I had a girl. So
told you, you're a young man. It's not too late.
Not that young, but so you know. I had a business. I didn't have another child, and I told myself I'll just name my business Culture. And the reason why Culture is because that's the only thing you have before you get here, and that's the only thing you got long after you're gone.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Is your culture.
Right.
Without stereotypes, rice and Asians and beans and Mexicans. That's just your culture. That you know what I mean. That's what you grew up into. Yeah, you collard greens and cornbread. You have no choice but to whether you branch off and change your skin color or whatever, but you're still whatever your culture, whatever that was. You know what I mean. And so I wanted something a little bit more meaningful than Darrell's barbershop or Zakaya's dad's barbershop. You know what I mean? I didn't want the norm. You know what I mean? I didn't want whatever's trending. So I said, I'm going to name it something to where I can make it a brand also. You know what I mean? So Culture can be clothing. Culture could be, I can open up a Culture pool hall. I can open up a Culture dentist. I can open up Culture anything. You know what I mean? And I have an escort, and I'm learning on YouTube University every day. So you never know. You might see Culture pool hall, you know, Culture whatever.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that Culture restaurant to start.
There you go.
That fried chicken, y'all.
Culture waffles, chicken and waffles.
Oh man.
So
man, it's getting late out here. This chicken and waffles don't sound too bad. Yeah, I got you, man. Well, that's awesome.
Build a brand.
Right, exactly. So you built the brand Culture. You have your daughter you're taking care of, which is great. That you're present and everything. You treat your, I see your daughter within the business itself, right? I see her all over your social media and everything. How does, when it comes to her interaction and everything like that, how does she view your success and your work? How is it on her?
So I have an iPad that used to be hers, right? I went in it the other day. It's right there in the bag. And in there, she had wrote like I guess like a little letter. I don't know if it was to me or who it was to, but it had said, "My dad is my best friend because he teaches me everything he knows and more." But at the end, it said, "But I don't get to spend a lot of time with him because he's always at work." So that kind of like, man, I want to tear up because your whole question. That just answered that. Like I think that she knows that I'm trying my best. She knows that her mom doesn't really have her dad. She knows that her dad doesn't have his dad at all. You know what I mean? So she knows without me reminding her that like your dad is really, really trying. There's another thing, you know, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed and neither is her mom, right? So she's in 6th grade now. She comes home with this homework, this math homework, and me and my child's mother are both looking at one another like, I don't know this. So I took it upon myself, and I'm grateful that I'm blessed enough to be able to pay for it. But I paid for mathnasium for her. Yeah. And then when she walks in, there's like maybe 1 or 2 black kids in there. Yeah. But every time I take her to that, that's like a reminder that I'm on the right path. Right. Like, exactly. I can't teach her.
Right. But you can find a way to make sure that she's successful. But I'm going to
find a way to make sure. And that's something that my parents couldn't do for, I mean, my dad wasn't there. So that's something that my mom couldn't do for me. Right. Nor any man that she dated. If I didn't know something in my homework, I just didn't know. You know what I mean? So, trying to juggle being a full-time father and having a 11-year-old, it's cool now because my daughter wants to do hair. Right. So a lot of the time can be spent there. Yeah, so you know what I mean? It's a double, but eventually I'll open up enough shops to where I don't have to cut hair at all. I get that. You know what I mean? And that's the goal. I get that. To open up enough to where I just go and collect and pay bills and that's it. You know what I mean?
That sacrifice is always an interesting thing because you get caught in the middle of trying to be, you want to be a present father, right? Right. But you also want to build and provide for your family and for your kids. You want to, you know, I assume that if your daughter's name is Kaya, right? Yep. If Kaya. She, you know, as time goes on, you know, when she's grown and if she's still on the path of wanting to pursue whether it be cosmetology or doing hair or anything like that, and she's, you know, like you provided a way that she doesn't have to try to go get a job outside of anything else. Right. She can work with you, right? And keep that family business going on, right? But that takes sacrifice and it takes time to build that up. So it's like, okay, do you sit there with your daughter at this moment? Or do you sacrifice? Do you like, oh, you know, just go do something else, put your business on the back burner so that you can just spend all the time with her? But finding that balance is it's always so important. I would say, so if you were to say a key moment in your journey that you have, like your barbershop, what would you say is that key moment to you, or any key moments that just stuck out to you that's like that where it changed you?
A key moment would have been, it's not a single day, but it's a time frame. And that's when I found the barbers enough. There's 8 chairs and I was one of the chairs, so 7 barbers. When I found the 7 barbers that I found that have been there the longest. Okay. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So not when I initially filled the chairs, because I filled the chairs and then somebody dipped out. Yeah, this person left, or this person didn't like it, or whatever the case may be. So a pivotal moment for me was when, okay, this core of people are good. Everybody's been here over a year. Yeah. Nobody's, I mean, you got little stuff here and there, you know what I mean? But no big arguments. Nobody's quitting. Nobody's on the verge of quitting. Nobody's
adding that stability in there.
And that's what prompted me to, okay, well, now we're all comfortable. Everybody's coming to work every day. Everybody has a key. What next? Okay, now I'm back comfortable, and I'm good. Like I'm good uncomfortable. Right. So once I'm comfortable, it's like, okay, well, you know, the shop's running. Everybody's paying their booth rent. Like I need something to test me. Right. Can I open up another shop? You know what I mean? And I found the next shop on a fluke. I was going to get pizza. Okay. And looked at the door and seen it was you know, the COVID stuff was happening. So Supercuts was only open from Thursday to Sunday. And I was like, that's weird. Okay. Yeah. So I kept going back to this pizza place. And then one day I seen the Supercut said, we'll be going out of business such and such day. I walked around that parking lot that day, found the little for lease little guy, called him that day. I left him a message like 3 days in a row. He calls me back and he says, no, Supercuts is in there. And I said, nope, they're going to be out of there on Thursday. He said, for real? He didn't know. Oh, wow. That's how fast you know. Dang, he was like, bro, I didn't even know that they were going to. Yeah, I said, yeah, I've been coming to Zappy's. I've been watching. I'm a barbershop owner. I want to get that building. And then, you know, I have my guy, Joe Green. He's a Vista city councilman. And he kind of helped me, you know, put little twist on it, and
Okay.
and the rest is history.
That's
I came
pretty
up with
cool,
my
man.
second building.
That's pretty cool. So you've been a successful business owner now, and but I would be interested to know a couple of things, because I assume that I'm gonna have barbers listening to this, watching this, probably want to go down to that same path that you went through, right? Or reach that level of success that you have, or something close to it, or aspiring to be even more successful, right?
Right.
What would you say has made you successful? Like you said, you have a checkered past. You're, as you said, on the left side of the law, right?
Mm-hmm.
Life could have went a completely different direction for you. You overcame that through, hard work. Your daughter having that what is it called? That inspiration, that motivation for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
To do so, to create a better life, and not to fall into those same, stereotypical things, like whatever those, to bog you down. What would you say has made you successful now?
Having the vision and the maturity, and just knowing. I really think like this, like a lot of the barbers that grew up cutting my hair,
Mm-hmm.
and that I kind of like looked up to, they were younger barbers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that was kind of like one of the first jobs that they did,
Right.
or first careers that they did.
Got you.
So they didn't take
Stick
it
with
as
it.
serious.
Right.
For me, like I said, I did everything in the book. I didn't been a tagger. I didn't been a break dancer. I didn't been a
Wait, clear the floor. I need to put
yeah, I didn't been I didn't been everything there is to be. I didn't sold weed. I tried to sell coke one time, and my dumb ass didn't have gloves on. And I felt different, you know what I mean? So I called the dude that I get the coke from. He tells me, well, do you got on gloves? And I'm like, nah. He's like, bro.
Yeah, that's in your system now, bro.
Yeah, he's like, I love telling that story, because I wasn't good at
life.
I wasn't basically I was chasing the money.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean? I was being a follower. Like I said, I was rapping because I looked on TV and seen they got big chains, and
right.
I went in the bathroom and made a rap. I was like, oh, I could do that, and that's why I wanted to be. I was being a follower.
I got
basically. You know what I mean? So what made me successful is that I came in the barber game, one, when they were charging a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It used to be $10, $7, $15. I came in when it was about 25.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? On its way up.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, and all kind of numbers got tweaked. $50, I come to your house type. So, and I came in with the mentality as, I'm gonna own multiple shops. Like, I don't want to just own one shop. Mm-hmm. I want to own multiple shops. And I realized I was one of the first, I ain't gonna say one of the first barbers, because I don't know if the barbers way back in the day were writing down how much they made.
Right.
But I came in doing that. Mm-hmm. Like, I wanted to know, did I make more money on this Monday than this Monday?
Right.
Without guessing.
Money. Right.
You know what I mean? I want to know the analytics. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's how I came up with, I'm going to take off on Tuesdays, because I can go back and look at my books. Mm-hmm. Tuesday is some bullshit. Tuesday is some bullshit. Club is not going up on a Tuesday.
I got you.
So that's why I came up. And that's probably the biggest difference I could say. Like, I came in with a plan. Like I said, I didn't have it written down.
Right. But
I knew in my head, like, okay, a barbershop, 20, 25,000. You know what I mean? And barbers is making a good amount of money. Mm-hmm. I just wasn't on no board. Like, at the spot, people was buying new dogs and buying Jordans and buying the PS5. Well, at that time, PS3s and Xboxes. And I was like, I'm not buying none of that. Like, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to save it. You know what I mean? Rick Ross was hot at the time. He was always preaching financial literacy.
He forever talking financial
saving
literacy.
Money,
like
mailbox money. Nipsey was, all money in. And I took all of that and and YouTube was starting to pop off.
Right.
Gary Vee at the time. That Gary Vee was one of the very first people I seen. Like, this dude's not famous for nothing else besides just talking and telling other people what to do with their life.
Exactly.
Like, that's dope. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I want to do. Like, I feel like there's a lot of kids that are just like me. Their mom ain't really, my mom, not to talk down on my mom,
Right,
but my mom
right.
only went to 7th grade or 8th
Okay.
grade. She didn't even go to high school at all.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha,
So
yeah.
imagine what is a child to come from with a mom that doesn't pass 7th grade with 2
Right.
kids and a dad that's nowhere to be found.
I feel it.
90% of black boys are gonna go gangbang and
Exactly.
go sell drugs and go
Yeah.
get on drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to be the face to show, like, hey, you
Breaking
don't,
up the
you know what I
cycle.
mean?
Yeah.
You don't. I started rapping because I watched rappers.
Right.
So if I'm now the rapper, but it's a barber,
Yeah.
and someone says, "Ooh, I can go to the Cripnick tomorrow and get jumped in, or I can go up to the barbershop and
Right.
chill with Tage," and he just showed me yesterday on his books that he made $600.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Every barber's like
So
you said
everybody's
earlier.
inspiring.
Every barber's gonna post a clean fade. Every barber's gonna do it. Post the sharp line.
Yeah.
Oh, this.
That gets old.
Like, how much money did you make?
Exactly.
How did you inspire? Did you talk to anybody in your cheer today and change their day?
Right.
You know what I mean? Show that aspect of yourself. Don't just keep showing a clean fade because you're, you know. It's,
Gotcha. So with that being said, because I feel like this goes right into the question I was about to ask you, which is if you were to talk with somebody that's coming up or any aspiring barbers or anybody that's struggling out there, what would you say to that would be like the key thing that you would say, hey, change this up? If you saw any flaw in the barber game or whatever like that, what would you say to change that up?
it sounds cliche, but to post more, to be more tangible. I tell my barbers this all the time: don't just post a clean haircut once a day and think you're gonna get any further.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a dude that's at the shop next to you. He didn't post it that he went and took his kid to school, went to the gym. You know what I mean? And people are gonna gravitate more to him because they want to see. People want to see. Love and Hip Hop and Black Ink Crew. They want to see. They could have just showed finished tattoos all damn day. You know what I mean?
Fall in love with the process.
The process.
That's the entire
person.
thing that people get.
You know
exactly.
What I mean? I honestly don't think I would have my first cheers filled without Instagram, I for sure wouldn't have them filled without Instagram. And me posting. Yeah. Like you said, you walked into a barbershop and other people are talking about me. Yeah. Would they be talking about me if I moved in silence?
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
So my advice would be to post more. I went to extreme lengths to get the clientele I have. And here's one of the examples. If you go on Instagram and hit the search bar, right, you can look up hashtags. And so when I very first got to the spot, my phone was so dry and my chair was so dry, I would have a preset message. Hey, new barber, Tates, check out my page, giving half off on cuts. I copy and paste that, put it in my notes, right? And I would go look up the hashtag Oceanside. Okay. Because that's the city I'm in. Right. Anybody that looked like they grew hair, bam, 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 Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V.
Out there with the
and if y'all think I'm lying, we'll go down. We'll hopefully we can show that that graphic of that same message being sent out, and that's the extreme I went to get clients. And sometimes it didn't work. Sometimes it worked. You know, maybe I got a client or two off of it, but that's the extreme because I said, if everybody's doing this, exactly, I need to do this.
Exactly. It's not about, and this is what I was saying, I'll take a moment really quick just to make this point to basically anybody in any industry. When you're trying to build your brand, and I try to stress this with my clients, it's not about posting consistently. I know that goes against what people tell you. And it's not contrary to what you're saying. Follow me. It's about the type of content that you're posting. Your content needs to give value, right? You posting a picture of how much you made, or taking a picture of or a post with your daughter, whatever like that. That gives value because that shows you as a person with life and all of that, and responsibility and everything, and shows what matters to you, and then also saying what you're doing. Right, to provide and all that kind of stuff. It's that journey, it's that process, you're selling the entire package with it, right? A barber that's just posting cuts of hair is not going to stick out like a barber that's taking posts that shows his family and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter whether it be a clothing brand, it can be a real estate business, it can be any type of business. Evaluate, if you're not seeing the reach that you thought or hoped that you would see, reevaluate your approach. Look at the content that you're pushing out. Say, okay, am I just pushing out this content? Is this content actually going to have an effect where people are going to continue coming back?
Right.
And that's going to set you apart.
Yep.
Building that value, setting that apart. You set yourself apart with culture. You set yourself apart as Tage. Thousands ain't good enough, right? Even sitting here, opening up, telling the story as to how you came through and through, a journey in life that was, kind of could have sent you down an entirely different path. Changing that up and going through this, and now being able to open up multiple shops, make an investment, investing in yourself and your future, as well as your family, your daughter's future, and everything like that. Being able to build a brand, it's inspiring. That's why I wanted to sit down with you today. That's why I thought that your story was necessary for other people to hear. So if you had anything else that you wanted to share with anybody, share with the audience, anything, what would that be? Any last thoughts?
Like I said, the extreme I went through to get clientele 5 years ago, like sending out that message, I'd say 8 years, 9 years into barbering, I'm still doing that same. I'm not sending out messages no more, but I'm still going extreme to try to get clientele, but not only for myself.
Right.
Another thing that I do that I never ever seen any barbershop owner do or anything is I've been wearing this brand literally 365 days a week for the last 3 years.
I feel it.
I always tell my barbers, let's say you're in a grocery store, you're walking through Walmart, right? You got on a Gucci shirt, Gucci down, right? Somebody walks past you and they need a barber, but you're Gucci down. They don't know you're a barber. They just know you're Gucci down.
Right.
You look like a rapper, for all they know.
Exactly.
But if I walk down that same aisle and I got on a shirt that says, I'm a barber, I cut your hair. Yeah. You know what I mean? They might see that shirt and say, hey, you're a barber, you cut hair? And then guess what else I'm going to have in my pocket?
Yeah, a card.
A card.
Exactly.
I'm going to have a card. I'm going to have a business card. I'm going to have a flyer.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So not only am I representing my brand every day, I got something to back up my brand. And the car and the flyers ain't, it doesn't look like a cheap black owned hole in the wall flyer. It's a good, it shows the work. It has a QR code, shows the address, the times, you know what I mean? That's we're in California. A lot of stuff is based off of perception. Right. I had no lie. I had one of my bigger homeboys come in my barbershop today, and he was like, "This don't look like the barbershop I thought I was gonna see in my head." I think he thought he was for to have to turn off the highway, make 40 turns, and it's in the back of somebody's house. You know what I mean? You got to walk outside to go use the bathroom. I didn't think he thought that. Dang, he's gonna come to an actual shopping center where other big businesses, Wingstop, GameStop. I'm right next door to them. Food for less. These are franchises. Right. And then you see a name culture. Right. He didn't believe he was looking at the light at the top, the not the barber pole light, but the light that that tells the whole business. He's like, how much that cost? And I'm surprised. Like, he's an older homie. Yeah. He's supposed to teach me this stuff. Right. You know what I mean? Not him coming into his little homie spot and saying, dang, how much does the light? I kind of laugh because, dang, he didn't, he just thought he was for to come into some BS.
I feel it.
So having my own clothes too, I will say that's helped me save money. Yeah. Because I don't go out and buy. Anybody who knows me knows I used to put so much money in Ralph Lauren's pocket. I had polo this, polo that, polo that.
Oh man, poloed out, huh?
I don't really get. I don't wear jewelry. Oh, shout out Kaya's Creations, little bracelet. She sells those. But I like I said, the difference between me and anybody else is that I'm focused on, and I got tunnel vision. I don't even have a girlfriend.
I got you.
I'm single for
Valentine's Day just passing. You out here alone.
I don't. Yeah, I'm all alone. People don't understand. It's a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
When I opened up my second shop, I put the receipts up and I said I could have went to Hawaii and Jamaica.
Yeah.
And showed, hey, I'm in Jamaica on the boat with the. Instead, I opened up a barbershop and gave 7 more people a chance to feed their family.
Right. That's inspirational.
You know
that's
what I mean?
Great.
So
the big question is that sustainable for you though?
What's that?
So if you're talking about you ain't got a girlfriend, man. You out here, you're working, you got the hustle going on, right? Hustle mentality, not calling your business a hustle or whatever like that, but you get what I'm saying, right? So you're working hard. You're how long, like I'm interested to know what's your overall goal. Like what is it when you look and you say, I made it. I'm comfortable here. What is that level to you? Have you even thought about that? Or are you at a point right now where you're kind of got your chin tucked and you're just, going through. So you're like, I'm not looking at where my end goal is going to be yet.
So I do have a goal. My goal by the end of this year is to scale to 3 shops.
Okay.
Right? If I can scale to 3 shops, then I only want to cut hair half time. I still cut hair 6 days a week, 8 years later right now.
Gotcha.
So I want to be able to cut hair half of the time, right? At whatever new shop that I get.
Gotcha.
The other half of the time, this is where I want to start the YouTube and get a presence online. To own 5 shops and not cutting hair whatsoever.
Gotcha.
And then I can start to, my goal is to open up a shop, sell the first shop for whatever price I sell it for, open up 2 more shops with that. You know what I mean? So for everyone I sell, open up 2 more, and those will be licensing deals. I would like to eventually franchise, but that's a little costly. And if I can get the licensing going first, then I can think about stepping up to franchise. I watched the story on the 2 guys who started Supercuts.
Yeah.
It's a little story on YouTube. So that's the kind of formula I'm trying to take, but just by myself.
I got you.
I don't have no business partners. I don't trust a lot of people. So
I got you. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad we took out the time to sit down and talk and share the story and everything. I am looking forward to producing the content, being able to tell your story even more, your barber story, your client stories, and all of that. Again, thank you guys. Thank you all for watching and checking us out. Be sure to come by March 18th, Culture 2 in Vista. We'll have the information in the link down below. Check it out. Thank you.